This is a Phoenix Media program, an innovation of USQ.
Listen mornings live and local in Brisbane, Youth Radio on 1197 AM and digital radio and online phoenixradio.com.au. My name is Nick.
My name is Alexander.
My name's Al. Thank you for having me again.
That's no problem. It's just another Monday.
It is.
It's Monday.
It's another Monday. Hopefully everyone is knee-deep into their exams.
Yes.
Yeah, second week of exam for students.
Yeah, except for us because we don't do
We don't have exams. We're lucky we're students.
I did exams.
How'd you go, by the way?
It was really funny. There was one exam that was hyped up to be the hardest exam for first year for that course, and it was literally 60 questions of multiple choice.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah.
As like an in-class exam.
Oh, it was
online.
literally like the definition of media is A, news, B, tacos, C, legs. Like some of the questions were that easy.
Oh, legend.
Yeah.
So it was good that it was hyped up because everyone was nervous and
And
scared.
everyone like overstudies
Yeah,
for
exactly.
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
and like maybe it was lecturers who started that rumor so that people would actually
Started
Yeah.
to turn up for the exam.
all good. So we've got a nice show coming up today. We know we've got news.
So we've got some news, entertainment.
Yes.
What else do we have? We have weird laws again.
We've got Terry
Something
coming
else.
on as well. Have
Yeah,
a little
so
chat about
Terry.
football.
Thank you, Mr. Pascoe.
Yes. And, just the usual.
Just the huge on a Monday.
On a Monday. Anyway, coming up, we've got I'm Out of Love by Anastasia, but right now we've got These Days by Rudimental.
I know you moved on to someone new.
Listen to mornings live and local in Brisbane, Youth Radio on 1197 AM and digital radio and online at phoenixradio.com.au. It's currently 10 past 10. Here's the latest news.
The Turnbull government is scrambling to rule out any sell-off of the ABC after the Liberal Party membership voted in favour of privatisation on the weekend. On Saturday, the Liberal Federal Council passed a motion with a 2-1 majority calling on the coalition to sell off the ABC, except in regional areas. The government has not supported the motion, which is reportedly supported by a majority of the 110 delegates by show of hands. Government frontbencher Josh Frydenberg backed Saturday's assurance from Treasurer Scott Morrison that the government had no plans for privatisation. The Liberal Party membership are entitled to their views and are as frustrated as we are from time to time about the coverage from the ABC. This is what Mr. Frydenberg told Sky News on Sunday. But the reality is that this is an iconic national institution which will remain in public hands. Labor's communication spokeswoman Michelle Rowland said that the Federal Council motion was proof that the Liberals were out to destroy the ABC. Ms. Rowland claimed that privatising the ABC could mean advertisements during programming and putting high-quality Australian content behind a paywall. Labor also called on the National Party leadership to call out their coalition partner over their vote.
A public memorial for Melbourne comedian Eurydice Dixon, who was killed in inner-city Melbourne last week, has been vandalised with offensive paint markings. Police said the paint markings were found at the site at Princes Park during a routine patrol just around 4 a.m. Floral tributes were not disturbed, but police said a number of items were seized and a police dog had been through the area. Firefighters were called in and removed the paint with a high-pressure hose. Thousands of people are expected to attend vigils in parks across Australia this evening after Miss Dixon's body was found last Wednesday. More than 10,000 people have indicated they will attend a vigil planned at Princes Park on Monday night. One of the organisers, Megan Bridger-Darling, said the event was about providing a place for the community to come together to show respect, love and solidarity. It's a way of saying that this is our park and we feel safe here. This is our soccer pitch. This is our area, Miss Bridger-Darling said. And you can't take that away through fear. Park vigils have also been organised in other capital cities including Sydney, Adelaide, Perth and Hobart.
And now for the latest weather. Today is expected to be the coldest day in Ipswich so far this year. A particularly cold, dry air mass that began sweeping the city on the weekend will reach its crescendo. What's a fancy word? Crescendo.
It's crescendo.
Crescendo. How do you say it?
Crescendo.
Crescendo.
It's like a musical term. It's like it's peak.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's... Oh, yes. Okay, I get it. Push
It's
your
Italian.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, it would be. Yeah. with an O at the end. Yeah, okay, anyway. Pushing temperatures as low as 2 degrees Celsius. It'll be the coldest morning in Ipswich all year, even fresher than Saturday's chilly start to Ipswich Cup Day, leading up to the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year on Thursday. The chilly start to the day will make way for the tops of only 19 degrees in the warmest part of Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday won't be much warmer, increasing by only 1 degree or 2. Tuesday will cool off to 3 degrees overnight and 22 degrees during the day, and Wednesday's temperatures are likely to be between 3 and 23 degrees. Normally in Ipswich, June temperatures range between 8.2 and 21.5 degrees. Sprinkle temperatures will range between 2 and 18 degrees on Monday and 3 degrees and 21 degrees on Tuesday, while in Gatton temperatures will reach between 3 degrees and 18 degrees on Monday and 4 degrees and 20 degrees on Tuesday. And for the southeast weather, it's currently 13 degrees with a top of 19 today. And tonight it will go down to 5 degrees. It'll be a bit windy today, and the sun will set at around 5 p.m.
Beautiful.
Oh, chilly weather.
You know, I
Yeah.
completely forgot that the Ipswich Cup happened.
Oh,
I only
yeah.
found out, I think, Sunday night because it was an article on Facebook. I'm like, oh, that's right, that happened.
I only knew about it because
People posted it on Facebook or something.
Oh no,
Snapchat
no,
for me.
because we were warned about it at work.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I worked
Yes.
on Saturday night, did the overnight at work. Because the after party was at the Orion Hotel
Yes.
here in Springfield, and I work here in Springfield.
Yeah.
But like we didn't get smashed. It was more like we were busy over a period of time.
Mm.
So we were still busy, but like it was
didn't die
stretched. It was
down.
stretched out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't die down.
Yeah. So we had the opposite. We were warned in the morning, probably won't be busy today because everyone's out. No, it wasn't. It was quite a quiet day for us.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the news and weather for this today. And coming up, we'll have our interview with Terry and history. But first of all, we have some music, Capital Letters by Hayley Steinfeld. But right now, we have Like Me Better by Louvre. Wow, I don't know how they say
I
that.
think it's Louvre.
Louvre,
You think?
maybe.
We'll Google it over the
Ooh.
break. We'll come back to you with that one.
We will.
In capital letters.
And that was Capital Letters by Hayley Steinfeld. You listen to Mornings live and local on Brisbane Youth Radio on 1197 AM and Digital Radio and at livephoenixradio.com.au. Now, this weekend in sport for Queensland Rugby League. Oh, wow. It has been an intense weekend. And joining us right now is our theatre host, Terry Pascoe. Terry, how are you this morning?
Good morning. How are you?
Not too bad. So tell us what happened this weekend. It's some wild things have happened.
Oh, where do I start? I mean, you've got and it's only going to get bigger and better because you've got the State of Origin on this weekend. They've also got residents on. But looking at this weekend, there's a few upsets. I could say that Ipswich just getting over PNG, Tweed back on their winning ways with a defeat over North home. But the big one that stuck out to me was Sunshine Coast defeating Burleigh Bears at home yesterday, 16-4.
Yes.
This is an incredible game that had a lot of the Queensland residents players were playing in that match for Burleigh, and still Sunny Coast were able to beat them at home.
That's very impressive of them as well, which has basically knocked out Burleigh from the top of the ladder, because now at the top of the ladder is the Blackhawks.
That's right, and so now Burleigh's been on top of the ladder for pretty much most of the season so far. So getting knocked off by Blackhawks, who started the season a bit shaky with their defence, but now really strengthened up. And I mean, they had a tight game. They played the Cutters up there, which is generally like a local derby, even though there's 1,000 Ks between them. But they it was 12-all at half time, so that game was also it really tested out Townsville's defence, and they come away off the win.
Absolutely. And for this State of Origin coming up, I believe the Queensland teams have just been announced. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, definitely. There's 9:30 the team was released, and there was a couple of players that have been added in there, and one player that's obviously been dropped off. So Anthony Milford's been dropped off the game, which brings in Kalen Ponga. This kid, he's all of 19 and, just raring. He's in red hot form. So obviously it's good that he's made the side. Everyone was calling for it, but I just don't know where they're going to put him, because he's been dynamite at fullback, but you're not going to move Billy Slater unless he's obviously injured. But then I guess we do forget that Ponga has played in the halves before at a junior level, and he did play a lot of in the centres when he was at the Cowboys. So there's a few different combinations there. The other inclusion has been as well is Tim Glasby, which is what I guess Queensland were looking for to tighten up that middle of the pack where the New South Wales hooker Damien Cook was just terrorising us a bit. But I didn't think there was going to be huge changes. I thought that the Queensland played well. It was just those 1 or 2 percenters that were causing errors or just our defence was a bit.
Exactly, and hopefully we'll pull through a win this time around. I really hope so, because then it'll make the third round more interesting, of course, because like neck and neck. But of course, as a Queenslander, I'm wearing maroon today as well. So I would like for us to win. And again, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Terry. Of course, you can catch Terry on After the 80 this week, and he'll be back because he's feeling better. Yay!
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Terry.
No worries, have a good one.
You too. Right now we have Wes Carr with You here on Phoenix Radio.
This day in history.
You listen to Mornings Live and Local on Brisbane Youth Radio, 1197 AM, and Drew online at phoenixradio.com.au. It's currently 10:30, and Alice here was getting down to our little history opener.
It's great. It's a great little jingle.
Jigging in the studio.
It brings me back to the good old days.
I mean, that's what history does. It brings us back to the
good
olden
old
days.
I have to
Flashback
be very
Monday.
careful what we think about the good old days.
Yeah, they're not always good.
And well, let's go into the first one. In 1940, the finest hour speech is delivered by Winston Churchill.
Nice.
It was the third of 3 speeches which he gave during the period of the Battle of France.
Alex, do you have any more info on that?
I had, but I've actually forgotten it.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I'll get
Wow.
some more at the end of this. At the end of the segment, I'll read it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I actually had some info on it, but I've forgotten because I had
Thanks
a
a
very
lot. Thanks a lot. We could have
memory.
had like a fun, interesting little.
Look, I'm sorry. We'll get to it eventually.
In 1953, the Egyptian Revolution of 1952 ends with the overthrow of Muhammad Ali, of the Muhammad Ali dynasty in the Declaration of the Republic of Egypt.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Oh, that worked well out for them, didn't it?
Yeah. So
not really.
That was a joke because Egypt is in such a state of disarray.
Then they have that controversy. No, it's not controversy, but their president is is basically a dictator.
Yeah.
Isn't he? And like someone photoshopped Mickey Mouse ears onto him, and he banned that photo. But since he banned that photo, everyone started
exploding.
sharing it
Yeah.
because
The
it's
same thing
banned.
happened with that photo of Putin, which had been photoshopped to look like he was a clown wearing makeup or something. Did anybody see that one?
No, I like
yeah.
the one where he's on the horse.
Yeah. Oh, he hasn't banned that one. It's the one where it's specifically he's like wearing rainbow and his hair's dyed.
Yeah.
And
because
he's
it's-
wearing lipstick.
It's because effeminity and
Yeah.
promiscuity is illegal in Russia.
Yes.
So
Yes. So we have in 1981 the Lockheed F-117 Nighthawk, the first operational aircraft initially designed around stealth technology, makes its first flight. Some info on this. I think it's this plane. Because it's designed to fly at such high altitudes, I don't know whether it's this plane or another stealth plane, the fuel tank leaks on the ground. So when you go up further in the sky, the plane constricts because of the air pressure.
Oh,
So to prevent that from breaking the plane too far because it's so high or something, when it's on the ground, because it's so loose, the fuel tank leaks on the ground. This plane, the F-117, sorry, is the little triangle plane that looks like a little Dorito chip.
well, there you go.
The black one with the
Yeah.
2 wings. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
That one. I think they've also been taken out of service.
Like that's 81. Yeah.
They're too expensive to fly, and they actually haven't been very successful, if I remember.
Yeah, because I mean, like the whole fuel leaking thing isn't really
Yeah,
helpful.
that and this thing was sort of designed at the end of the Cold War, and since then we haven't had a need for it. Because it's a technology of stealth. We don't need stealth with the enemies that the US is fighting. They don't need stealth. So
In 1983, during the Space Shuttle program, STS-7 astronaut Sally Ride becomes the first American woman in space.
Nice.
there's something about this later down here in more history, which was yesterday. We'll get to that in a bit. In 2006, the first Kazakh space satellite, the KazSat-1, is launched.
Maybe space this themed.
It is very space
history.
themed. There's more space history coming up.
Oh,
too. Yeah.
oh.
Hey guys, any listeners out there, you may not know, but Alex is really into space. And
Yeah, just a little.
I wonder who wrote today's history
So
segment.
I'm into World War and space, which, in case you haven't noticed over the past few weeks, has been a very common recurring theme.
I like general trivia and music, of which that will be later.
Yes,
Ooh,
yeah.
yes.
Do you want me to read this one?
Oh,
Or?
yeah, the 2009, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
in 2009, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter LRO, a NASA robotic spacecraft, is launched.
See, that surprises me because to us, I mean, it doesn't seem that long ago. In our lifetimes, that is so long ago. But the fact that that technology existed almost 10 years ago, like
Yeah.
how different was technology in 2009 to now? Like, I don't.
yeah.
The iPhone 1 came out. Like, do you remember how
Yeah.
bad phones were and computers were? Like, remember how big and chunky the Macs were? And
Yeah.
Just trying to remember where I was.
just to think in 10
2009.
years. Yeah.
2009, I was...
Grade 6. We were in grade 6.
Yes, okay.
Yeah,
No,
six,
Because
yeah.
we
I got
graduated
connected
2010.
to the internet for the first time. I had no internet until 2009.
Really?
Yeah, kids are growing up. Like, I think I was
Wow.
9 or 10 or no, I would have
We
been.
didn't have internet. We had kid pics.
I remember that. Yes. On the Macs.
Yeah.
Oh, that was amazing.
Kid pics.
Remember how
kid
the
pics.
Gonna
ABC.net
have fun with
had
kid pics.
those games?
Sorry?
ABC.net had those games where you had to build a race car.
Yeah. Oh, I played so much of that.
And Club Penguin.
I never got...
I got
Really?
banned.
Oh, did you?
I got banned.
I got into it. And RuneScape.
RuneScape.
And miniclip.com.
Miniclip
I
A
played a
game.
little bit of RuneScape.
Yeah.
I
still play
was
it
I was
today.
playing on my designer games like Roller Coaster Tycoon
Oh, yeah. And SimCity.
and SimCity,
yes.
The Sims. I still
The-
play The Sims till today.
I don't know if it's still on special, but the newest SimCity is on special, like the deluxe edition, for $7.
That's pretty cool.
because it's not as good
Because
as
it's not as good as the original.
I still enjoy it, but okay, I'm just gonna get into a gaming rant right now.
So we'll get to that.
We're going to that 'cause
Okay.
we have an
So-
E3 segment on
so-
the entertainment news.
So here's something with yesterday. I'll bring that the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
point. This is a really good one. So yesterday, the 17th of June, in 1985, the space shuttle program of STS-51G mission, the space shuttle Discovery launches carrying a Sultan bin Salman bin Abdullah Al Saud, the first Arab and first Muslim in space, who was a payload specialist. I thought that was pretty interesting.
That's the thing I was talking about later. There's more space. And
Oh, sorry, I stole your thing.
No, it's fine.
Aw.
There's a bit of a dark thing here, which was again yesterday on the 17th in 1967. Nuclear weapons testing. The People's Republic of China announced a successful test of its first thermonuclear weapon, which adds China to the list of countries that are
World superpowers.
which are thermonuclear capable, basically.
It's
Which
pretty,
I believe
it's pretty insane. Like
yeah.
that has the power of more than 100 times an atom bomb does. Like
Yeah.
It's
100
pretty
times
scary.
more intense.
I told you quite a while ago to look at Fallen.io.
Yeah, I saw that. And it
Yeah.
made me depressed.
Yeah. The guy who runs Fallen.io, and I'm sorry I can't remember his name, but he's released another one which very much goes into depth about the atomic bomb and the hydrogen bomb and its effects that would happen today if something were to happen. And it's worth watching because he really puts a visual graph on sort of a lot of data, and it's super interesting. So go on Fallen.io; it'll be there in episode lists. Have a look at it. It's great.
It's a good website. I mean, I went there. It's very informative, but very sad.
It's very
It does exactly what you said on the tin. It puts everything into a lot of perspective.
into a lot of perspective. Yeah, and it's
In lighter news in history, if I may, bring it to the music side of it. So today in 1964, this will probably be interesting. First time the Beatles ever toured Australia.
Ooh.
The first time they played in Sydney. They played today in 1964 in Sydney, and that was also Paul McCartney's birthday. So today is also Paul
Wow.
McCartney's
Oh.
birthday, and he turned 22nd when he came here. And in the next one, this is pretty interesting for Nick over here. Today in 1977, Fleetwood Mac went number 1 in the US and UK singles charts with their song
Wow.
Dreams. And I think the last one I had here, which is pretty interesting.
We'll listen to some Fleetwood Mac. Oh, actually, no, just Stevie Nicks in the car. On the way here.
We enjoy Stevie Nicks a
Yes.
little bit.
Very.
It's pretty good. No, that's all right. They're the only bands that matter out of this whole list. I mean, there's some stuff here about Bob Dylan and the Sex Pistols, but
That's so good.
they're overrated.
Well,
I do not represent the views of USQ.
so after these songs, we're going to talk about some entertainment news. So
Yeah,
So
quite a lot to go
E3
through.
just happened, and
Yes.
some of us here in the studio have seen The Incredibles 2. Last week, I already told everybody what
I
movies.
hate you. Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah. Last week we talked about what movies will be releasing over the current month, and we didn't think it was a good thing to repeat that. So instead, we're going to be talking about one of the movies that we've seen that came out last week, which is The Incredibles 2.
Oh, good.
No, I think we should all discuss Finding Nemo.
why
Finding Dory.
No, Nemo.
Nemo.
Because it came out so relatively recently. That was
Coming
a joke.
up. Coming up, we've got Fresh Eyes by Andy Grammer, but right now, Remind Me to Forget by Kogo and McGill.
Today in history.
And that was Fresh Eyes by Andy Grammer. You listen to Mornings Live and Local on Brisbane Youth Radio on 1197 AM and Digital Radio on myphoenixradio.com.au. Now, entertainment news time.
News.
Time to get entertained. And joining us in the studio today is E3 expert Mitch Drake.
E3 expert. I love that. That's going on my business card. I love it.
That's a prestigious title. Please wear it with honour.
I will.
Okie dokie. So let's talk.
We're going to start off with The Incredibles because 3 of us here have seen The Incredibles, 2 of us have not.
Okay.
Yes.
So
why? Why does Incredibles line up with E3?
It's entertainment news. E3's coming later. Okay?
We'll link it to it somehow.
The Incredibles Lego game came out yesterday.
I saw that
Hey,
on
there we go.
Steam. Yeah. So The Incredibles, I am going to go out on a limb straight away. I'm going to say it is the best sequel I have ever seen
really?
in a movie. This includes sequels like The Empire Strikes Back and Lord of the Rings 2 Towers.
Lord of the Rings 2 Towers was quite disappointing, to be perfectly honest.
I liked the battle.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked the battle. See, it was
There
my
was a
favorite.
battle? Sorry.
I like the men smashing.
Yes,
there.
yeah. It was my favorite sequel in Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I would say that.
My
it's,
favourite
like-
sequel was Spider-Man 3.
Oh.
That was a joke.
Okay, we need that cricket sound effect. Yeah.
No, that's yeah.
No, so The Incredibles 2, we discussed it last week whether or not it would continue on from The Underminer, and I said I don't know. There's been a lot of rumors that it may.
Wait, is that a spoiler if you say if it does or doesn't? Because I kind of want to.
No.
Most people know, and I haven't seen it yet, but most people know that it starts the second the last one finished.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
The
So
Underminer.
that's
that
great.
was something that I wasn't sure about last week, and I said it may or may not have it as a flash. It definitely covers it, but it may be a flashback, and we're X amount of years in the future. But no, it follows exactly from the point,
That's great.
and it's a really good movie.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So with Alex putting that in mind, my perspective, again, not representative of some people here in the studio or the university, I was not a fan of Incredibles 2. I thought it was quite cynical as a movie. I thought it was a bit of a cash grab and a nostalgia fest, much like most of other Disney's sequels are. Again, this is just my opinion, my completely irrelevant and uneducated opinion. It's e.g. Toy Story 3 and Finding Dory. They just rely on nostalgia and didn't really do anything new to invigorate the characters. I didn't feel like Bob Parr or Helen Parr improved his characters and I found Mr. Incredible to be quite off-putting.
I agree with that. I did find there was a bit of a sort of a gear grinding bit there in the relationship between Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, and also I think the dynamics between the two felt like I'm all for like equality, and I'm really glad that Hollywood is starting to realize the error in the ways of production and #MeToo. People coming out to say all these sorts of things, that there's a lot of injustices between the sexes in Hollywood, and I'm glad that there is starting to become an emerging trend with equality. However, I felt there was a bit hand-fisted and forced in this film, and that's something that's not going to age well.
But this film is in the era of the white picket fence American dream, and back then
it's a nuclear family era.
Yeah.
But again, it's very hard to place. It's kind of timeless.
Yeah.
Because they've got mobile phones.
yeah, I saw
like
because I'm
there's-
watching it. I'm like, they've got.
It's
all
like
this
that
old
same thing that
technology.
they do with Gotham, where everyone's got old technology, but they've all got mobiles. It doesn't
Yeah,
make sense.
doesn't make
It's
sense.
just this weird timeless paradox. But it's completely fine. It's experimenting on those ideals of the original comic book era and how that used to be how it was meant to work. And this kind of, I believe, again, haven't seen it, represents that emergence of feminism and the equal rights as it moves forward.
Yeah.
It's not really intended to be kind of pandering to the audience. It is a natural progression from what that era would have been like.
if you really wanted to set it in the 60s, just whop Jermaine Greer in there and then call it a day.
Exactly.
So let's move on to E3 stuff. at the moment. I did not do any research with E3. I didn't keep up with it this year.
I kept up with a little bit, but not a lot.
Yeah, same here. Not all. There was only a couple of IPs and titles that I was really interested in focusing on. So when they come up, I'll put my 2 cents in.
Okay. Do you have a list, or do you want me to go?
I think Alan
So I think the first thing we're going to talk about is a lot of people are complaining about the amount of women that are in the games. Especially,
it's a buzzword. It is a big buzz thing. Yeah.
We're going to talk about Battlefield 5. How did you see all the complaints that people said? Oh,
No, I haven't seen these complaints. I kind of keep my space away from the incels and those kinds of people.
yeah.
What's
So a
an
lot
incel?
of people are complaining. You can now, you can now play as a female character in Battlefield 5. A lot of people are saying that this is the first time Battlefield has ever included the female character, which is wrong. In Battlefield 1, there was an expansion pass where you played as a Russian sniper. That class was a female.
Yeah.
People are saying it's not true to history because a lot of females didn't actually fight
When is Battlefield 5 set?
in World War II.
Okay. So, again, yes, I understand that from that perspective, but get over it.
Yeah.
It's a game. If you want it to be real, go and join a reenactment group,
yes.
and then you can pander to that.
Yeah.
So,
So
you're playing a video game.
Battlefield 1 wasn't even true to time either.
No.
It had zeppelins and planes.
Yeah, it's like vague realism.
Yeah. What
Doesn't
I like
matter.
about it is it basically it's true to form in the equipment and the vehicles that they used back in the time were correct, but they mash it all together in one timeline, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah, and that's fine.
that's
And
fine,
there's nothing
yeah.
wrong with having, because there would have been female operatives in any.
Yes.
No matter what.
Definitely.
And it's not unreasonable to think, like, if it's not out of the realm of possibility. So you've just got to calm down in this situation.
And just it's a video game.
And to answer your question, Incel is it's an internet group that grew from basically what you think of a neck beard.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm aware of them. I'm aware of them.
It stands for involuntary celibacy.
I just don't get the point of like getting mad about female characters in general. Like,
Yeah.
when I play like any other game, I do a mix. It just depends what I feel like.
Yeah,
like,
but the Sims are designed to.
Oh,
be
not
a
the
fa-
not the Sims, not like just the Sims, but like with anything. Like,
So-
I can't think of any other games.
I don't
Okay,
think-
Mass Effect.
Judging on his shirt, I don't think Nick has any right to think about what he thinks about games.
No, but to go on from EA, they actually did announce. They did in the now heavily kind of frowned upon Battlefront 2. That whole thing was centered around a female character in the main story.
Yes, yeah, you played. I forgot her name, but yes, you did play.
It didn't matter.
Wow,
Yeah.
you forgot her name. I bet
It
you
didn't
didn't
matter.
remember
No,
the
it didn't
males.
matter
It
because
didn't
it
matter.
didn't matter.
You had to buy that.
My point is refuted.
Yeah. So a good example, Mass Effect series has been.
And that's one of my favorite series.
A lot of people say, and I can actually kind of agree with this, that the female voice acting when you play as female Shepard
It's significantly
is
better.
much better, much stronger.
Because a male shepherd is a potato man.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care what you say about Potato Man. He's my Potato Man. I will shape my potato how I see fit. However, I will agree. Jennifer Hale, absolutely underrated voice actress. I've actually never heard her perform in Mass Effect the series. I've only played as the male Shepard, but Jennifer Hale's been in quite a many amount of games I've played, including Metal Gear Solid, and she's a very leading woman in Metal Gear Solid. And but yeah, she's underrated, and I just thought Mass Effect is a good series because from 2008 they pioneered the fact that you shape your own destiny in
Yes.
terms of the game. But from the get-go, you choose whether you want to be male and female, and the entire game is cultivated depending on who you are and what you want to be. And that's back in 2008, so that's something
Yeah.
you got to respect EA and BioWare for.
So we've got sort of some Bethesda.
So you want to go into the Bethesda?
We
news?
wanna go into
Okay.
Bethesda.
So announced prior to the conferences, we had Fallout 76, which is set 20 years after the nuclear apocalypse. It is an open world cash grab where you're trying to get as much land as you can, create your own little settlement. Basically, it took the parts of Fallout 4 that everyone loved, the building of your own little house, and made an entire game out of it. It's not part of the canon, really.
Yeah.
It kind of is, kind of isn't. But a lot of people are happy about it, but a lot of people are equally disappointed about it.
Yeah.
If I had my opinion, I'm incredibly unhappy about it. I think it's incredible. I think the game industry, in and of itself, again, my opinion, naive. whatever you want
Not
to
if you were
fine.
skewing
So, again, but I think the game industry is in a huge, distasteful slump. I think video gaming is becoming only about online play because you got to think about it. You have to buy the AAA prices for the game. That's one purchase. You have to have an internet connection of which you have to have a provider, so you have to pay per month for that. That's two purchases. You have to buy the new game system to which Switch to play the game on. And not only that, I used to love that because I had an internet system and had a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and all I needed was an internet connection and a PSN account. Now you need to get PSN Plus or the Xbox equivalent.
To be able to play online, yes.
Exactly. That's four payments you need to play this game. And you may only, like, if you're like me, where I'm busy, I got 2 jobs, I'm not going to be able to play more than 5 hours a week.
And this is where my argument for Nintendo comes in, because I'm a massive Nintendo preacher, basically, and that most of those worries are removed. The console doesn't matter. Most things are meant to play offline.
Yeah.
And you can take it wherever the hell you want.
I like that, yeah, because
Switch is
having
so
the
nice.
ability to play offline is a big thing about the Switch because it's so mobile.
Yeah.
And they understand that users aren't going to be able to have online.
And that being said, they are introducing a paid server structure.
Yeah.
Moving from September.
It's like $20 a year.
It's
though,
$20.
isn't it?
It's the same price as a month of PSN, but for a year.
Yeah.
And they
That's super
have
cheap.
immediately undercut everyone else and going.
That's something I can easily respect Nintendo for. I think developers and any big wig in the game industry should take a leg from Nintendo because I'm increasingly getting dissatisfied with the state of games at this point because it's becoming pay to play.
It's-
for every sense. It's just
A lot of people have realized that games are a very, very, very good business model to get money from. EA, for a big example here.
EA.
And
They're following the the mobile market.
Yes.
We've kind of left the microtransaction space. We've moved into a more battle pass space where you can't unlock anything unless you pay $30, and then you get extra special unlocks that you can't get otherwise. And it's a very bizarre space to be in at the moment. And like you said, everything moving online. We've got Call of Duty 4, Black Ops 4.
doesn't have single player.
No single player whatsoever.
It's just multiplayer.
And
I don't like that because I like playing by myself.
Exactly.
I'm debating either playing with friends, but like I like having that by myself aspect
Do
as well.
you remember the old Battlefield games? They didn't have a single player campaign. They had bots.
Yeah.
Bad
they-
Company, you mean? Or
No, before that, like Battlefield 2, Battlefield 2, 142, 1941 or 42 or something. They were all multiplayer, pretty much multiplayer only, with the ability to play with bots.
Yeah, similar to an Unreal Tournament kind of stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, but that's where those games should be. You shouldn't be turning games that are meant to be heavy story stuff like Elder Scrolls, like
Yeah,
Fallout. They
yeah,
should
yeah,
not
yeah.
be online only experiences because then you lose what
Again,
makes those games good.
another exactly the same thing. Metal Gear Solid is a game that's completely driven by cinematic storyline, and then
Yes.
Metal Gear Survive, the new game that came out last year, is an online pretty much only game where it's based upon world building.
Tom Clancy's The Division,
Yes.
all that kind of stuff. It doesn't need to be online. There is an obsession with online at the moment.
It totally is.
I mean, we were just talking about SimCity before SimCity 2013,
It's on special now for $7.
Yeah,
The entire
yeah.
collection.
Yeah,
and like when that launched, like
everyone
Hated it.
it was forced multiplayer, but you can have it by yourself, but on a private server.
So did you hear-
where you had to be online to
Do you
play.
understand the entire kind of saga of that? Because I've done research into this and it's amazing.
Oh, I actually haven't done too much.
So basically, EA said it is physically impossible for us to make
yeah,
it.
I remember this. Yes.
And then
Right.
before they stopped, like I think they ended the Salt Lake City, Salt Lake City Maxis,
It gets
one of the
gets better.
studios,
It
and
gets
then
better.
they were like, "Oh, Drake's been do single player."
No, that's not what happened. That's what the forward facing of it is. Someone cracked it after they'd said that. So yes, it
Yes.
can work. See, this is working now. And so to make it offline for them, they copied the crack and incorporated it into the main game. They stole someone else's work to make their game that they said was unable to be played single player
player.
compatible.
And it was also interesting. I'm going to see so I can have a bit of talking points about The Sims. Like during that time, The Sims 4 was being developed, and during that time, The Sims 4 was going to be the same with an online only multiplayer thing. And then SimCity was a flop, and they were like, "Uh-oh, we shouldn't do this with Sims 4." So they completely
Changed it.
changed the game, and you can still. Like someone recently made a mod for The Sims 4 because the multiplayer coding is still in the game. So I made a mod which you can do multiplayer for The Sims 4. I did it like a few weeks ago with a friend, and it was really weird. I'm like, oh wow.
Well, The Sims had a multiplayer game at one stage.
The Sims Online, which
Yes,
was very
based
popular.
off number one.
Yeah, and it was very popular. And then something happened, and like they changed something, and people didn't like it. And then it was basically like a flop.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I always found it really interesting. The Sims 4 Stars multiplayer in development. Then they were like, "Oh, SimCity was a flop. We should not do this." And
Yeah.
I think it was a good choice. But the same game suffered in the end because when Sims 4 released, oh my gosh, the amount of things which were missing from previous games.
Oh yeah.
Oh geez, like that's a
You can
whole
buy-
other segment.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we'd be able to bring it slightly back to what we were talking about before with Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
But it was about women being a bit of a forefront in the games at the moment, or at least what was unveiled at E3.
They're becoming more of a main character.
And I wanted to bring up Last of Us 2. Just full bias out there. I absolutely adore The Last of Us #1. It's my favourite game. It's the best game I've ever played, hands down. The one after that would be Metal Gear Solid, but I feel this one game beats like 3 of the Metal Gear games. So, I've been incredibly hyped for this game for quite a while, and I noticed everyone got a lot. Anyway, has anyone here seen the gameplay trailer, the new one that came out?
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people got into a stir about the ballroom scene, and I'm not seeing the big kerfuffle about it just because people are making such a big deal of it because it depicts 2 women having a nice little kiss on the dance floor, which is nice.
Two good friends having a little kiss.
So
But the thing that I hate is that, and I want your opinion on that, Mitch.
Yep.
If you paid attention to the game at all, people that are bringing this up, and there's been a lot of people giving hate to Neil Druckmann and Naughty Dog for like, oh, you're just pandering to the crowd, yada yada. And I'm thinking, well, if you paid attention to The Last of Us 1, you'd find a core character, Bill, who you find throughout the game, who helps you go. He is gay. If you paid attention, he is gay. And if you paid attention to the story, including The Last of Us DLC, Left Behind, you find that Ellie is gay. She's a lesbian. Yeah. If you paid attention to the actual game, you'd find out. And what I think the game does it so skillfully is that it's literally just, oh, they're gay.
Yeah,
it defines nothing of their character, which is exactly what it is today. You know, for my opinion, being gay, being bi, lesbian, straight has zero to do with your personality. I mean, if you're a bad person, you're a bad person. It doesn't matter if you're gay or not. If you're a good person, you're a good person. And that's why I'm bringing that up. If you paid attention to the game in the first place, you would realize that this isn't something new. You shouldn't be surprised that Ellie did this. Anyway, Mitch?
It's just really interesting to see because, again, there are elements of gaming culture which have that negativity around pandering. Most notably, have you heard of Gamergate?
No.
Yeah, so Gamergate is a kind of group that formed after a female reporter gave a good review to a game that was incomplete and bad, basically. And it turned into this idea that women and the LGBT have no place in gaming. And that's still perpetrated today. And so you're going to get a lot of people who fit these kind of extreme spaces criticizing this kind of inclusion because they do view it as pandering. It almost goes hand in hand with the Trump era politics. Like, you unpack this far enough, everything is out of whack.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I do a lot of research into esports. There is one female esport player at the moment. One.
Wow, yeah.
And
That's insane.
it's not good. There was one trans woman at one point, and she got removed.
Was she forced to remove, or did she leave herself?
She was bullied severely into being.
So she left herself.
So there is toxicity in the gaming community, and that stuff can't be let to keep going.
No.
This sucks about esports as well because a team, I don't know much about esports, but there's teams, of course.
Yeah.
And it'd be like girls and boys
no
together
difference.
because there's no physical difference like in Olympics or something.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like...
And it's been around since games had couch multiplayer. I can't remember the amount of times I've played Mario Kart, Halo 1 with just everyone, guys, girls, young, old. Like, it's just that's what games were so good at, especially back in the day. I
agree.
It was just all about that. It's all about, if you can't beat me on Battle Creek, whether you're a girl or a boy, don't play. But
So what I like about games is that you always have a character. And so, to me, gaming is you're controlling a character. It's not you. It's the character. That's what I love about games like The Last of Us. You're not you, you're controlling the character. That's what the game is about. And so whether that character is male, female, whatever, doesn't matter.
And the fact that Last of Us 1 even hinted towards that, because there's a good 20% of the game where you control as the other protagonist of the game, Ellie, the woman, and you plays her for a good part of the game as well, for a good 3 missions or so, for a whole chapter basically. And it was always hinted at that Last of Us 2, it's Ellie's story. I don't understand the big uproar about where's Joel and it's like I said,
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because honestly, you have to think about it logically as a narrative progression. So bringing it back to The Incredibles 2, my biggest criticism is that it doesn't add anything new. And Brad Bird, the director, said, "I'm not going to make an Incredibles 2 sequel until I think it's as good as the first or better." And that's how, for me, a sequel should be. You should be a bigger and better continuation of the first, or
it should be the
something
opportunity to build upon the story that already
Yeah.
exists. It should feel like the next episode in a television series.
And that's why part 2 is going to... It would not make sense if you had Joel as the devout main protagonist in number 2, because you already have a story. You have his arc. It's all winded up. We want to know more about Ellie, and I completely agree with... This is how you should... For me, this is the correct way to do a sequel. You slightly build upon the story that was developed before, but you go something a bit new with it. And I love that. I appreciate that. All the faith in the world to Naughty Dog.
Well, good. I think we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah, I'm
talked
happy with that.
Quite a while now. We're going to go jump into our sponsors.
Lovely.
And then we'll have some Delta Goodrum with You Will Only Break My Heart.
When it came to
Today's world is more
childcare,
competitive. Challenges are more complex. Industries more rapidly changing. Employers more demanding. You need to think bigger, act faster, work smarter. And to do it, you need to be more than skilled, more than relevant, more than qualified, more than confident, more than employable. Become more with the University of Southern Queensland, the #1 uni for graduate employment in Queensland. Apply now at usq.edu.au.
USQ is a proud sponsor of this radio program.
This is a Phoenix Media program, an innovation of USQ.
You Only Break My Heart by Delta Goodrum there. You'll listen to mornings live and local in Brisbane Youth Radio on 11:97 a.m. and digital radio and at livephoenixradio.com.au. It's currently 12 past 11
Lovely.
and time for some weird stuff. Some weird Australian stuff, which is
Okay, that's
organised by our lovely producer, Gabby.
Gabby. Thank you, Gabby.
Yes, Gabby.
Gabby.
So I'm going to go through them. I have them on my phone here.
Yeah, so Alistair and I don't know what it's about.
Yeah, I think that's the main gist of it. Is that we don't know what's going to come up. Ooh. It's like Christmas.
So
Unwrapping gifts.
in South Australia, obstructing or disrupting a wedding ceremony is against the law and you get a $10,000 fine for it.
Whoa, that's steep. I can understand like a $200 fine, but not 10,000.
Yeah, but except weddings can cost upwards of $10,000.
Yeah, that's
So-
great.
So I just think if you can't have your dramatic entrance into a wedding saying, "Stop the wedding, I'm still in love with you."
Yeah, but wait,
can't do
aren't
that.
you allowed to do that?
I mean, like if you're
Forever now,
running into
or
it.
however, hold your peace
No
or
one
something?
does that. There's like I've been to like 2 weddings and that's never happened.
Yeah, true. I must admit.
I've been to 2 weddings.
I've been to 2 as well, and it's never happened.
Yeah.
But
Okay. That's,
only South Australia.
Only South Australia.
But,
yeah.
but also, does it obstruct also mean like if you just accidentally like, stumble in there and you're like, oh, whoops, wrong wedding.
I think if that happened, you just play it cool and sit down somewhere, and pretend you're a guest.
You don't want to cop the 10
I think
grand,
they
yeah.
mean something like if you run up and like stand in front of the ceremony.
do a Black Mirror nosedive thing.
Yeah.
This is one of my favourite laws, which I did cover last year, but you guys weren't around here for my show last year.
Sorry.
It's okay. In Western Australia, it's illegal to be in possession of more than 50 kilograms of potatoes at a time.
What?
So you can't go carrying around your 50
What if you have
kilograms of potatoes.
49.99 kilograms of potatoes
That's fine.
You're walking a thin line, boy.
and they weigh it? No, they bring you into the police station. I'm like, boy, let's weigh your potatoes. Like, no, this is,
Let's weigh-
trust me.
It's only 49 kilos.
And they look at you and they're like,
There's something fishy about this guy.
You get away with this time with your potatoes, you boy. And you slap the
why?
rest.
Is there a reason why?
I don't have a reason right here. It's just,
You're not allowed to.
yeah.
See, I know that in certain parts of Victoria and New South Wales, you're not allowed to cross, like, there are lines where you're not allowed to cross with, like,
Food, yeah, I've been
Yeah,
through them several times.
food
Yeah, going
and-
from like
and stuff.
Sydney to Melbourne and stuff.
olives and grapes because they have a big wine industry in
Yeah.
that area and cross contamination. But potatoes in Western Australia and 50 kilograms. So you're still allowed to bring the food across.
but as long as it's not 50 kilograms, then you should get arrested.
Okay,
you naughty person.
Yeah,
what
you deserve to get arrested.
What if you
Yeah,
have 49 kilograms of potatoes and 49 kilograms of sweet potatoes?
No, that's too
Don't you
confusing.
try
But they're
walking
different
around
potatoes.
this law, okay? How
No.
dare you
I don't
try
like
and-
people like you that just try and make a mockery of our laws.
Exactly. How also in Western Australia, it's illegal to crush a beer can between your naked breasts. Because I personally do that all the time.
Naked, so
What?
if
So if you're wearing a bra, it's all good.
Yeah, if I wear a bra, I'm allowed to do it.
You are.
Sweet. What a ridiculous. Why? Who cares?
And in Victoria, the most progressive state in Australia,
Yeah.
I forgot that's part of Australia.
it's against the law to wear pink hot pants after midday on a Sunday.
Really?
Apparently, according to this, on
National Sunday.
It's National by National Geographic. This list, so I trust it. On a Sunday, yeah, because it's
Pink
pink hot pants.
Just says hot stuff on the back.
So if it can be any, it can be trousers, it can be shorts.
Well, no, I mean, like, I guess they're talking about like the little short,
The short shorts.
like.
So if you're like someone
trying
from
to
like,
show Alex like.
you know, I know, yeah, like the almost budgie smuggler, like,
Yeah.
the classic
Yeah.
roller skates 80s
Yeah,
that
afro,
sort of thing.
yeah,
It can be blue, can be green, can be red,
But it
don't
can't
you
be-
It's not pink.
dare make it pink.
Don't.
hot pink.
Can I add another law that's actually pretty interesting?
Yeah,
to
sure.
remember, there's one in France. There's a rural town in France near southwest, like Reims and stuff like that. So it's near there. It's illegal to die. If you die there, you will not be getting buried there. Your body will be getting changed to another town, and because you're dead and you can't pay the fine, your family will get charged the fine for dying.
Oh, really?
So you cannot die
You're
in
not
this
allowed to
town.
die.
You're not allowed to
Why?
die because the graveyards are full. Because it's so
Oh.
small that the graveyards are full.
You can't help it when you die.
Yeah, well, you get fined. Or it's like if you it's like I think the rule is like if you know you're gonna die, like you're terminally ill and you have like 1 month to
okay.
live, then they'll fine you. But if it's like if you get stabbed or shot somewhere, then they'll
Yeah.
probably just move your body to the next town. I think that's about
Exactly.
it.
It's like if you get
But
hit
it's
by
illegal
a
to
car.
die. Yeah.
It's like how dare you get hit by a car? It's like blaming the victim.
Oh man, but that's another weird law. Thanks, France.
Thank you, friends.
Wow, that is so weird.
Well, coming up, we've got some other things, some surprises in the show. I'm saying that because I haven't looked at the list yet. But it'll be a surprise.
It's a surprise for Nick, anyway.
It's a surprise for me. Coming up, we've got Never Ever by the Rubens. But right now, we've got some Zayn Malik with Pillow Talk. Ooh.
Saucy.
Ooh, some nice pillow talk.
Zayn.
Hey, you listen to Morning Cypher Local on Brisbane Youth Radio on 1197 AM and Digital Radio and online at phoenixradio.com.au. It's currently 25 past 11 and time for some world news. Okie dokie. So our first article today, UK bill to make upskirting criminal offence blocked by Tory MP Christopher Chope. That's quite a last name, Chope. Gina Martin was at a music festival when she realised, to her horror, a man has secretly taken a photograph up her skirt. When the 26-year-old approached authorities with proof of what had happened, she was told the image was not graphic enough for officers to do anything about it because upskirting was not a crime.
Oh.
The incident prompted her to begin a campaign to make upskirting a punishable criminal offence in the United Kingdom. Ms. Martin's campaign won mass cross-party political support and widespread public support. On Friday, Liberal Democrat Wera Hobhouse tabled a private member's bill that would make upskirting a criminal offence punishable by up to 2 years in prison. It was expected to be nodded through the House of Commons, but it was blocked by a single Conservative MP, Christopher Chope. The veteran politician who was knighted this year did not explain his reasoning publicly and was not immediately available to Reuters for comment. Ms. Hobhouse said she was furious at the 71-year-old's objection, which prompted calls for shame, including the string of Tory frontbenchers. I don't think he actually has any substantive problems with the bill, Ms. Hobhouse told The Guardian. He hardly knows what upskirting is, I think. It's just he doesn't like his private members' bills and certainly doesn't like them when they come from other parties. It is very, very annoying and frustrating that objections to procedure take precedence for him over the right thing to do. And I just feel like that should have just been like a sexual assault.
Yeah, I was about to say
sexual
that,
assault,
that
but
should
like,
just be automatically...
it shouldn't be like considered something else. It's sexual assault.
There's a word...
You're taking pictures of someone.
It's probably
Yeah.
trespass against the person.
Yeah, it's like breaching their privacy.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the equivalent of, I would say, like
It would be
getting a
if-
telescope and taking pictures of someone.
If you were to stick your phone into a toilet stall,
Yeah.
that's illegal.
Yeah. I'll say it's the same as that, though.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I would imagine it'd be considered the same thing.
Yeah.
But for them to say, what did the police say? They said,
That upskirting is not illegal.
so
But
yeah,
like,
told the image was not graphic enough.
it's like someone's, it'll be her underpants you'll be seeing.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, I haven't seen the picture myself. I don't want to because that's her privacy. I'm not going to see that. But like, it doesn't matter what type of underwear she was wearing, whatever. It's like,
It's still...
It's not even newsworthy either. Like if you're gonna make the excuse that XYZ does this, it's who cares? It's their privacy. It's their body. We should not intrude in any way. And
yeah. And it's a shame that nothing was done about it because it's such
That's...
a weird thing as well Like, why would you do that?
It's really creepy.
It's
Yeah.
really. Have you seen videos of people doing it?
No, I haven't.
So I've seen this video. I don't know if it looks like it's like a fake setup, but basically
Gutter press.
this guy going up an escalator sticks his phone underneath this woman's skirt.
Well, like,
And
what do you get out of it? I just think.
you have photos to
But
do
there's the
whatever you
internet.
want with. Yeah,
I'm sorry,
so-
but it's like. But you're not.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can get. I don't know. Maybe it's the thrill. Anyway, in this video, like the police follow the guy and they grab the phone off him, and he's like, "Oh, what's on here?" And then they drop the phone because it's in a mall. They drop it down the floor, and he's like, "Oh no, if you want us to replace it, just go to the local police station and tell them what was on your phone." That's why I think it was a setup. It looked really scripted, but basically that's what it is. Usually, it's people going upstairs or whatever, and they just slip their phone underneath, and
That's weird.
yeah,
It's ridiculous.
it's a
And
bit
like,
disturbing.
I'll see as like sexual. I don't know if sexual assault's the right term or.
I
but,
would
like,
consider it sexual. I would consider it sexual. assault.
Okay,
I
but
would.
like it should have been classified as that.
Yeah.
Not like some sort of separate thing because it's sexual assault.
It
no
would.
matter
It
what.
would. It's almost okay. How would you consider it if someone was wearing a low cut top and you were to grab that top and stick your phone down, or stick your phone down
Exactly.
there? Cleavage. It's the same thing, just with a skirt,
Yeah, I would.
and that's
yeah,
sexual assault. It's full on sexual
I
assault.
would agree with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know why this isn't already considered something else.
Our next story. You read that?
Yeah, I'm happy to read that. Let's let me find it. All right, so senior intelligence officials are warning that the Western world, that Russia's interference in the 2016 US election was an escalation of aggression that is likely to continue. Robert Hannigan, the former head of the UK Signals Intelligence Service, the GCHQ, has told Four Corners further attacks from Vladimir Putin are probable. Mr. Hannigan said, as long as Putin can't address Russian economic problems, he's probably going to be tempted to wrap himself in the flag of nationalism even more firmly and to do more foreign adventures. I hope not, but I fear that might be the case. Dan Hoffman, a former CIA station chief in Moscow, says that this new threat from Russia should not be underestimated. He was quoted as saying, as dangerous things were between our countries during the Cold War, as much risk as there was as a conflict, you might argue that we're in a worse place today, he told Four Corners. Mr. Hoffman's scrutiny of Russian actors during the 2016 campaign election has led him to conclude that sophisticated spycraft was at play. He points to the infamous 2016 Trump Tower meeting, which he says which is a deliberately discoverable Russian operation. I think what Vladimir Putin was thinking is the best way to soil our democratic processes was link the Trump campaign in some conspiratorial way because it's Russia back to the Kremlin. 2 years on from that meeting, President Donald Trump and his team are still being investigated over allegations of Russian collusion. Mr. Hoffman told Four Corners that this chaos was Mr. Putin's plan all along. In June 2016, senior members of Mr. Trump's election campaign team, including the president's son Don Jr. and son-in-law Jared Kushner, agreed to meet with several Russians in Trump Tower. They had been promised that they would receive incriminating information about then-presidential rival Hillary Clinton. James Clapper, Barack Obama's Director of National Intelligence, told Four Corners that the Trump's team willingness to work with the Russians is telling. Mr. Clapper said, what it reflects is an interest in collusion. Whether anything came of it is yet to be determined, but I do wonder whether it's just one vignette that became public and were there such other encounters. I don't know, he said. At the June 9th meeting, Russian lawyer Natalia Vestelenka gave the Trump team a memo which included unproven allegations of wrongdoings by donors to Hillary Clinton's campaign. This was far from explosive information that had been promised. She told Four Corners that she was meeting with the Trump team or private business for a client, but she had discussed the information with Yuri Chenkaya, the general prosecutor of Russia, one of the most powerful figures in the Putin regime. I personally reported to Mr. Chaika that I don't know exactly, but many, many months before this meeting, she told Four Corners.
Wow.
Why is it the fact that it's been over 2 years, we're still investigating this? Why is... This wouldn't have happened with Barack Obama. He would have been, if this was the same thing that happened to President Obama, he would be impeached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If this happened to Bush Sr., maybe not Jr., but if this happened to Bush Sr. in the late 90s, he would have been impeached. It just shows how much control...
Oh, Clinton. You mean in the 90s? That was Clinton.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Bush
yeah.
Sr. was the 80s then, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Junior was the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if that happened to Clinton, he would have been impeached. A lot of these presidents would have been impeached because it's been over 2 years. To me, and again, not representative of the views of anyone, this is conspiracy talk, but it is a conspiracy.
Yeah.
It has to be. If there was any other president before in time that didn't have links to Russia, they would be impeached.
Immediately.
Especially with some other things as well. This is more relating to, I guess, news type stuff, but, Fox News, how much of a wild cards they are. And, of course, we know that Trump recently met with Kim Jong-un. And I
Now
think,
he's a poster boy for change.
Oh,
yeah. So
that annoys
Fox
me.
News and Fox in general have been going, oh my god, Trump is amazing because he's going out and talking to trying to create peace. Meanwhile, a couple of years ago, they were like completely obliterating Obama, saying, "Oh my god, our president wants to talk to a dictator."
Yes, I
Like,
saw
how dare
that.
he?
Yeah,
You know,
Like,
he wants to-
it's the equivalent of going to your grandmother's place, breaking the cookie jar on purpose, just so you could buy her a different one at Christmas and be like, "Oh, you're such a sweetheart. You really gave me something.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry I broke that, but here's another one." It's the equivalent,
It's
really.
the same thing. Yeah. What I love is he's been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Wait, really?
Yes.
But,
It wasn't. Look, I don't think it was him that I can.
so sorry, the same guy who was threatening nuclear war.
Yeah, the
against
same
North
guy who
Korea
was calling North Korea Kim Jong Un little rocket man.
and going, my button's bigger than yours.
Yes,
is getting a Nobel Prize
is
Prize.
now being nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize for a meeting that from what I can see, I'm gonna say 99% positive he did not. And he's not the reason why the meetings happened.
Absolutely.
Kim Jong Un met with China before anybody else.
Exactly, and it was that scare from that collusion between China
Yes.
and North Korea that frightened Trump to go into it.
Yes.
So if we're really looking at it,
And
it was,
I think China kicked North Korea and said, "Hey, look, you got to pull yourself together," because China and North Korea are allies. They do sort of share
It's
resources.
both communists.
They
North
are.
Korea isn't really communist.
North Korea separates China from South Korea. So that's another reason why they kind of like North Korea being there. But it came to the point where they must have said something. They must have had to say, "Look, you got to kick yourself a bit because we're trying to be this big world leader, and you're this bad thing on a name." Trump did nothing. He's just, I'm sorry.
it doesn't show good leadership. At the end of the day, you can be conservative or you can be a progressive liberal. At the end of the day, and I respect your opinion. You have the God-given right to vote and vote for whoever you so choose. But you cannot sincerely believe with the evidence you have here at hand that Trump shows examples of good leadership. It's
There's
not
just so many occasions, especially on social media, where he has said one thing and done the other, and he goes back on his word all the time. It's now becoming so frequent that he's doing it in the same media press conferences, where at the beginning of the media press conference he will say one thing, and then at the end of it he will say the complete other. And it's just, crazy.
It's just weird.
I know.
It's just really weird, and it'd be interesting because they've got I think probably by the end of this year they'll start campaigning for is it midterms? Like, every 4 years they have the election.
Yeah.
I think that they'll start campaigning now because in 2018 is in 2 years' time.
I'm going to say something. It's very dark.
Uh-oh.
I'm surprised he's still in power.
Oh, yeah.
The service, what do they call the American...
I was about to say CSI.
No, but whoever's protecting
FBI,
Trump...
Yeah.
the FBI,
No. Whoever's protecting Trump, like they're his personal bodyguards.
the NSA.
They must be doing a very damn good job, because I'm surprised that no one's attempted something.
Look, we with our history, we've only assassinated the progressive presidents.
I was about to say, because,
It's only been the
Yeah.
left wings that have
No,
ever
you're right.
voted
You are
for-
right. Yeah,
yeah.
because the world is run by corporate fat cats.
Yeah.
that's what Trump is.
Not representative of the views of US University.
On to our next story, which I'd like to
We
read.
really have to
yeah,
start
yeah.
putting disclaimers on everything.
We'll do it at the
sorry.
beginning of the show, so we don't have to do it
Yeah.
throughout the show. So, Dreamworld fatal accident. The coroner inquest into the deaths on Rapid Rides begins 15 seconds after a large water pump feeding Dreamworld's usually tame Thunder Rapids River ride failed. 4 people were dead. 2 years on, wow, it's been 2 years.
I didn't even know it was 2 years ago.
Jeez, yeah.
It's interesting because on Facebook,
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, on Facebook the other day, I shared a memory of when my Canadian friend came over. We went to Dreamworld.
Yeah.
It was literally 3 or 4 months before this happened. We were like, oh, whoa. At least we went there before.
When it was on the news, I was like, oh, goodness. Like, this thing's big.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I genuinely, and I remember going, because it happened pretty late in the year of 2016, didn't it?
Like September, October. I
Yeah,
think.
because
Yeah.
I went to Dreamworld in early February of 2017, for my 19th birthday.
Yeah.
I went there with my partner at the time, and it was dead. It was absolutely dead. It was the holidays. It was the weekend. Dead. It was dead. It was dead. It was Dreamworld really suffered from it.
Yeah.
And I just remember it was a few months after that, and it was a weekend. It was the middle of the day. It was just dead.
Because, that's from my lifetime, of my knowledge, that's like the first time
In
someone
Australia.
died in a theme park.
Yeah.
'Cause you see all that stuff.
Don't
in
no
other
no
countries.
it's not the first. There was
In our lifetime. In my lifetime.
in your lifetime it would
Yeah.
have been Luna Park in Sydney.
Oh, lovely.
Had a accident where one of the ghost mansion rides, because it's one of those indoor rides,
Yeah.
caught fire.
Oh wow.
And everyone died in that one because there wasn't a significant enough escapes and the suppression system didn't work properly. Luna Park ended up being sold to someone else, I believe, for that, and has obviously reopened. But yeah, so it's not the first time, but yeah, definitely in our lifetime, and when you consider that was in the 1980s, in today's modern technology, something like this happening, yeah.
I was
Anyway,
always afraid of roller coasters after I watched a movie called Final Destination 3.
Yes.
I was afraid.
Roller coasters for me are stuck to the Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you purposely make them crash.
Yes.
Anyway, getting back to the story. 2 years on, their families are a step closer to getting answers about what went so horribly wrong. Today, I can never pronounce it, sorry, coronial inquest will begin at the Southport Court Complex on Queensland's Gold Coast. Families of the 4 victims are expected to attend the 2-week hearing. Emergency services were called to the horrific scene at 2:30 p.m. on October the 25th, 2016, after a 6-person raft collided with an empty vessel and flipped backwards. Cindy Lowe, Kate Goodchild, and her brother Luke Dorset and his partner Ruzi Arghi, I believe, were killed instantly. 2 children on board managed to escape. At a pre-inquest hearing in Brisbane in April, counsel assisting the inquiry Ken Fleming, QC, said the group had almost completed the white water raft ride without incident when one of 2 large pumps feeding the ride failed. Within seconds, the water levels plummeted and the raft in front of the victim's vessel was left stranded on the conveyor belt. The group was thrown from the ride when the 2 rafts collided. Miss Goodchild, Miss Lowe, Mr. Dorset, and Mr. Aghi were caught in the mechanism of the ride and were either trapped in the raft or ejected into the water beneath the conveyor, Mr. Fleming told the court. Each died almost instantly as a result of comprehensive and crushing injuries. Cindy Lowe's family issued a statement at the initial court hearing and said they hoped the inquest will provide answers about why the tragedy happened. Our lives were turned upside down that day by the loss of Cindy, the family said. We have spent each week and month comforting each other and learning about how to live without her. Dreamworld closed the park 6 weeks following the fatalities and has permanently decommissioned the Thunder River Rapids ride. Deborah Thomas, the CEO of Dreamworld's parent company Ardent Leisure, left the company 8 months later. Since the fatalities, the Queensland government has passed industrial manslaughter rules, which mean corporations can be held accountable for deaths on site, but they will not apply in this case as they're not retrospective. Coroner James McDougall will investigate the circumstances and cause of the fatal incidents, as well as construction, maintenance, safety measures, staffing, history, and modifications of the ride. The inquest will examine the sufficiency of the training provided to the staff in operation the ride, and if anything can be done to recommend to prevent similar tragedies occurring. So, one thing I'm finding quite interesting in this article actually is how they, and this is horrible, how they said that they each almost died instantly because
the crushing, it was...
do you remember it blew up on media because nobody really knew what it meant, but one of the paramedic chief officer or whatever his name is said that they had sustained injuries which were incapable of life. And people blew up because they're like, oh, this is such a horrible way of saying it. But no, it's an actual medical term. And what that meant, and they said that they did not continue resuscitation because they sustained
such bad injuries.
Yeah, the injuries were so
like
bad.
Head injuries or something, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It-
or anything else, I guess.
Yeah, it was, pretty horrific injuries. So people blew up because they're like, this is such a an insensitive way of saying how they died. And it's like, yeah, but...
That's the best proper term.
Yeah, and this is the thing where this article says that they died instantly. Unfortunately, I have a feeling they did not.
Yeah.
Which is horrible. But
It is horrible. It is definitely horrible.
yeah,
But yeah, and that's...
That's world news.
That's world news.
that's world news, yeah.
Let's jump into the weather. I'm going to play my little intro for that because it's such a great intro. I enjoy it a lot. So it is 13 degrees, so the top 19 degrees today. Tonight it will go down to 5 degrees, so chuck on your fires, chuck on your heaters. I'll be having my electric blanket on tonight in my bed. It'll be a bit windy today, and the sun will set at around 5 p.m.
Swell.
Coming up, we've got some Ed Sheeran with Perfect, but right now we've got a Taylor Swift classic, Love Story. Oh,
Brings you back to 2008.
Oh, yes, it does. Here we go. That was Perfect by Ed Sheeran. You listen to Mornings Live and Local on Brisbane Youth Radio on 11:07 a.m. and digital radio outline phoenixradio.com.au, and it's 10 minutes to 12, which just means it's the end of our show now.
No.
Oh, no.
Another week gone.
It's been such a big, productive session today.
I know, right? We're getting so good at these morning shows. Like, we're
We should
improving.
compare the very first episode.
Oh, don't talk about the first episode. Because I remember...
it went really well.
It went well.
Because we were freaking out
Yeah,
about
yeah.
everything, and it went swimmingly.
Because we meant to have
And then-
another person on, but that person didn't end up coming.
Yeah, and then I remember next week it all went pear-shaped.
Yeah, or the week after. That's right. Because I remember it was with Arthur Yeti as well. I'm producing that. The first episode was great, and the second episode was a complete disaster. Wasn't it right, Gabby?
Beginner's luck.
But let's be real here. The reason that the show got salvaged was because of me.
Yeah, that's true. If it wasn't for Alistair, I'd like drop out of university.
Oh, for sure. I think Alex is starting to think that too, to be honest. Wow, how dare you?
No, it's been really great.
Amazing having you here.
I'm glad. No, I'm just happy to be here.
It's great to have someone else because we were supposed to have 3 people. So it's always good to have that extra
Very
person.
happy to be here, and I'm hoping to be back here next semester too. I'm trying to align the university timetable so this doesn't interfere with uni like it did this year.
But anyway, thank you for joining us this week. We'll be back next week again at 10 o'clock to 12 here on Mornings on Phoenix Radio and Brisbane Youth Radio.
And also, before we go, I want to thank the producer, Gabby. Thank you kindly for always swell work as always.
All good. Right now, we have Sorry Not Sorry by Demi Lovato. Again, thank you for listening.